In today's episode, the Vikings did reply to my question for this week's Monday Morning Mailbag, and also we're going to review some of Madden 23 leaks, top 32 players at different positions. This is the Vikings. The Vikings rode to 500 wins.
The Broncos I've liked ever since Peyton Manning played there.
So let's get into this. I submitted a question for the Monday Morning Mailbag. I mentioned they try to respond to as many questions as possible, and if they don't feature them on the Monday Morning Mailbag, they just reply directly to you. So this is what I submitted. Hi Vikings, I'm John Kramer, a diehard teenage Vikings fan. My question: do you see the Vikings as a competitive team for the division conference this season, or since we just had a big staff and player overhaul, will it take probably 1 to 3 years for us to be a serious team? We'll close with John's question. Multiple times this offseason, there have been opportunities for ownership, new general manager Quasito Famensa, and O'Connell to speak and outline their expectations. At every turn, they've emphasized they expect to be competitive. I wonder if that just means competitive for the playoffs or competitive for the division or the conference. Because if it's just competitive for the playoffs, that could mean we could go 9-8, 9-8, 10-7, 11-6, something like that. But if it's for the division, maybe better, especially even the conference. Maybe we could actually win double-digit games pretty easily this season. Because honestly, I think it's either going to be we're gonna finish like 7, 10, or 8-9 because we're having a little transitional year, or we're gonna do like 12-5 and it's gonna fall. Everything's gonna fall into place. Probably going to be somewhere in between, but I imagine those are the two extremes it'll fall in. This quote from Adolfo Mensa from late March after the initial wave of free agency provides some illumination. The way we look at it is we're trying to navigate both worlds. We're trying to live in today and tomorrow, or the competitive rebuild, however you want to phrase it or market it. Adolfo Mensa said, I think that it's kind of how we've approached this. I think that's kind of how we've approached this offseason and our time horizons going forward. We have a thorough approach. We spend a lot of time with resources and understanding what we have on campus, what we think the players that are here can be one day, and how that helps our needs with our time horizons, he added. Because of that, we are allowed to be very patient, really selective in what we do, and that's kind of how we've approached the offseason so far. And gotta remember, as Vikings fans, the biggest motto: hope for the best, expect the worst. Hope that we go 20-0, don't lose a single game this season, but expect the worst and have us go 0-17 and get the number one pick for the next 8 years, like the Browns did for a while. And as I said, I think on the low end of the totem pole, I think we have the team to win double digit games. I'd say at the low end we're gonna win at least 7. I think we can win at least 7 games, but I don't see us winning any more than like 11. I don't see us winning any more than 12 games, and I say 12 because if everything falls into place, our players do well, we don't get injuries, our coaching staff becomes a huge success, then we can win 12 games. I expect us to go, I'm going to say, I think we can go 9-8. Last time we had a transitional year was 2014 when we went from it was, what's his name? Why am I forgetting his name? He's the defensive coordinator for the Bills now. Leslie Frazier. We had Leslie Frazier in 2013. We went 5-10-1 that year. We went 3-13 in 2011, which was our very worst year ever. The weird thing is with the Vikings, we've always been, for the most part, we've been anywhere between just below average and above average. We generally win like 5 or 6 games and then tap out at 10 or 11 games, so we're always just right in the middle third of the record. It's weird. We've never gone any worse than 3-13, and we've gone 15-1. So we've seen basically everything. I can't say everything because we haven't gone 0-16 yet. But yeah, last time we had a transitional year, it was from 2013 to 14, and I don't mean that season. I mean the years. 2013 we had Leslie Frazier. We went 5-10-1. The one game that we tied was with the Packers because they had their backup quarterback, and we lost. We tied 26-26. We actually went to overtime, and it was 23-23, and we both kicked a field goal, but neither of us could. Neither team could score, so we tied that game, and then in 2014 we get Mike Zimmer. He slowly starts to rebuild the defense. We went 7-9. So we won 2 more games that year. And that's why I think that we could possibly go 9-8 this year, since we went 8-9 last year. And the biggest reason was just because of our final 2 minutes of every half defense, because we allowed 20 points every game in the final 2 minutes. We could be up 28-0 with 1:59 seconds left in the first half, and somehow it's going to be 28-28 at the halftime, and then we'll be up 35-10 with 1:59 seconds left in the fourth quarter, and yet we're somehow going to lose 38-35 because our last 2 minutes of the game defense is so bad, and our offense wasn't much better last season either. Okay, now let's move on to actually I'm gonna go this way because this is better chronological order. No, I'm not gonna sign into Twitter. So let me show you this. Please stay full screen. It should. I'm gonna show that I have the quarterback, running back, wide receiver, D tackle, edge rusher, middle linebacker, and safety ratings. The top 32 of all of them. So Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Josh Allen, I think is their universal top 4 players, but then Lamar Jackson should not be that high. He's Justin Herbert, Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott, Joe Burrow, Matt Stafford, Kyler Murray, maybe not Kyler Murray, but all of these guys are certainly better than Lamar Jackson. And Kirk Cousins at number 17, behind Matt Ryan, disgusting. Jalen Hurts, disgusting. Ryan Tannehill, disgusting. Derek Carr, disgusting. Kyler Murray, disgusting. That's way too low. So, and the thing is, Madden likes to give Kirk Cousins a above average rating every single year. He's always 80 overall, maybe 81 overall. So they like to give him a pretty good rating. Anything above 80 is solid, but they only like to give him a decent rating. They never give him anything more. It's really annoying. Like, if Kirk Cousins is an 80 overall, how is Matt Ryan, Jalen Hurts, and Ryan Tannehill 81, 82, and 84? It makes no sense. Jalen Hurts should not be that high. Ryan Tannehill and Matt Ryan are both very washed. None of them should be really above 80. Derek Carr, 85. No, Kirk Cousins is better than Derek Carr. Deshaun Watson, 86. He hasn't played in over a year. If you just specifically remember how talented he is, his talent that he's shown could get him in the 90s, but he hasn't played in so long we can't say he's that good yet. Then again, they gave Rob Gronkowski like a 95 overall last season. No, not last season. In 2020, they gave him a 95 overall for whatever reason, even though he hadn't played in over a year. Kyler Murray, 86. I think that's too high. He has like all the skills of a good quarterback, but just set all of them to above average, and that's what Kyler Murray is. He's a great scrambler. He has apprentice Lamar Jackson type scrambling abilities, but his throwing is not that great. He's literally Lamar Jackson Jr. That's all Kyler Murray is. He's not quite as good of a thrower. He's not quite as good of a runner. Matt Stafford, 87 overall. I've heard Purple for the Win say this a lot. I don't know if I agree with this, but he says, if you take away the Super Bowl, Matt Stafford and Kirk Cousins are the Spider-Man pointing meme. Because they're basically the same player. I don't think that's true. Matthew Stafford has a bit of a bigger arm. I think not that Matt Stafford is particularly better. I don't think he gets as bad as Kirk Cousins can get. Like Kirk Cousins can get very bad at times. I don't know if Matt Stafford gets that bad. Then again, he threw 4 interceptions to the Vikings defense, which was like 20, basically 35th in the league last year. But that's besides the point. I think Matt Stafford is definitely better than Kirk Cousins. I don't think that there's much of a debate there. Joe Burrow, and I think Joe Burrow should not be lower than Justin Herbert. I think Joe Burrow is better. Joe Burrow last season is what Justin Herbert was in 2020. Joe Burrow had just improved so much, mostly because as everyone says, the biggest ability, the best ability is availability. So he wasn't injured the whole year. He was able to do a lot better. Dak Prescott and Russell Wilson. I don't think Dak Prescott should be rated that high. Dak Prescott is honestly kind of like the Baker Mayfield cycle. He gets featured, he gets hyped up, he gets featured in ads, he plays terribly, the hype goes down, he beats inferior teams. By inferior, I mean, it means he beats the Jaguars and the Texans, and then he wins those games, gets the hype back, then it gets back featured in commercials. Basically, take away the featured in commercials part because he beats not very good teams, and people think he's God, but then he loses because he's not a star. He is a good quarterback, but he's nothing. He is not an elite quarterback, so he ends up losing games and loses all the hype. And then Russell Wilson. The thing I don't like about Russell Wilson is, as we've said, we've seen the meme. Russell Wilson the first 8 weeks of the season, and then the last 8 weeks of the season. Well, now it's like the first 9 weeks of the season and the last 9 weeks of the season. The first 9 weeks is someone is drawing a really nice, really detailed the backside of a horse, and then the second side is like the fourth grader's drawing. Because he looks like the best quarterback to ever walk the face of the earth, to breathe a molecule of oxygen, and then he falls off into Brian Hoyer level. Then let's see, Mac Jones, Baker Mayfield, Jameis Winston, Garoppolo, whatever. All right, now let's move on to the running backs. I believe this is running backs. I don't know if I've touched on this yet. I definitely have by myself, but not on the video. I'm not sure. Honestly, these top 4, again, these are like everyone knows these are the top 4 running backs. Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, Nick Chubb, Dalvin Cook. I remember back in 2019 when the Browns were hyped up so much because they had Baker Mayfield, Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham Jr., David Njoku, Kareem Hunt, and Nick Chubb, and everyone thought they were going to win the Super Bowl, and then they were terrible. I saw when I was voting my Pro Bowl ballot, I saw Nick Chubb was actually very high in the leading rush yards leaders, and I was like, wait, what the heck? He's not that good. But I realized he was just the one bright spot on that team, and since then he's just gotten so much better. Dalvin Cook, obviously one of the best receiving backs and running backs. Jonathan Taylor and Derrick Henry, the 2 best pure running backs in the league, other than maybe Nick Chubb. Christian McCaffrey, reverse the 9 and make him 65 overall, because that's what he is, because he's hurt all the time. He sees a blade of grass, and he decides his knee hurts, and he has to take the rest of the season out. Joe Mixon, 94 makes sense. Alvin Kamara, 92. Sure. I'm not going to go too much into this because I got a lot of other stuff to cover, and I don't want this video to be 40 minutes long because I know I'm not going to. Most of you guys aren't even watching by now. But if you are, like and subscribe, comment, hit that bell because I freaking love you. Cordell Patterson, it's so weird to see Cordell Patterson in the running backs list because he's been a wide receiver almost like all of his career until he went to the Falcons and they used him how he should be, which is a running back who catches the ball basically. That's some kind of what Deebo Samuel is. A wide back. I don't know why I had to whisper that. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, A.J. Dillon, Eli Mitchell, J.K. Dobbins, Evan Singletary. Okay. The main reason I wanted to review all this is because of that Vikings article where they answered my question, because I wanted to show another glimpse of the talent that we have. And this one, I'm a big fan of these ratings that we got. Devontae Adams and Cooper Kupp, 99 overall, both. Sure, I can't really argue with that. They are the two best receivers in the league. And then Justin Jefferson, 96 overall. I love that. Tyreek Hill, 96. Stephon Diggs, 96. These guys are, most people would say those are the top 5 receivers in the league. DeAndre Hopkins, I miss when he was the undisputed number 1 receiver in the league. That was back in, 2019. And then Michael Thomas took that crown from him because he caught 7,000 billion passes for 7,000 billion times 10 yards. He was really like 149 for 1,700 yards, but whatever. Because all he ran was slants, and Drew Brees just hike, throw it to him. Say can't guard Mike, but, I mean, you don't really have to, and he's going to catch it for 2 yards every time. Keenan Allen, 94. Mike Thomas, 93. Deebo Samuel, 92. Jamar Chase, 90. How is he rated above Mike Evans? I mean, their physical stature, I don't even know if that's the right word. Mike Evans is, without a doubt, a better body than Jamar Chase. Because Mike Evans, he's huge. He's like 6'18 and a half. Jamar Chase is just really fast. But he did have a huge year last season, so you can't really argue with that. Terry McLaurin, 90. DK Metcalf, 89. I've heard Wise World say this. He sees Justin Jefferson, Terry McLaurin, and DK Metcalf. I think this was before Jamar Chase really popped off. He says those 3 are going to be the future of the league. The 3 future top wide receivers in the league. And, well, right now, it's looking more like, and of course, give it a couple more drafts, because there's most likely gonna be another great wide receiver in every single draft. Right now, it's looking like the future of the league is Justin Jefferson, Deebo Samuel, Jamar Chase, and Jalen Waddle. Those are like all the best young receivers right now. It's weird to think that DK Metcalf and A.J. Brown are actually young. Maybe just because they have had really good seasons and they were pretty quiet last year. And then Adam Thielen, 87 overall. I can't really argue with that, though. I've mentioned Cooper Kupp is what Adam Thielen would be if he was used to his absolute best. And I was with 2 of my brothers. I was playing Madden. I mentioned that, and one of them goes, "You're just saying that because he's white." And I'm, fair enough. Yes, that is true. But what I mean is, neither of them are amazing athletes. They're both good route runners. Neither of them are super fast. Neither of them are amazing jump ball guys. And oh my gosh, why? No, I don't want this. Neither of them are amazing jump ball guys. Oh my gosh. But when they are used correctly, they are some of the best receivers in the game. Like 2017 and 2018, Adam Thielen for over 1,200 yards and 1,300 yards. He was used perfectly. Cooper Kupp last year, over 1,900 yards. And really, this guy, Devontae Adams, Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, DeAndre Hopkins, Deebo Samuel, Mike Evans, they're all better athletes. DK Metcalf. Not Michael Thomas. But all those guys are better athletes than Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp was just used perfectly. He got over 140 receptions for over 1,900 yards last year, and he was used perfectly. Adam Thielen, that's what he could be. Adam Thielen right now, 87, does fit pretty well. He hasn't done a whole lot in the past couple years because he hasn't been used a whole lot. if he was used to to perfection, that's what Cooper Kupp is basically. And then Justin Jefferson, I really like that they gave him a 96. Based on how I think ratings should be, I like how PFF does it, where 90 and above is elite. I think it's like 75 to 90 is like starter. 60 to 75 is like above average or something like that. Like, we see guys who are 70 and below as just garbage. But the thing is, like, when people say, like, something is a 6 or 7 out of 10, that's still decent. Like, 50 should be average, but in the NFL, 75, 80 is average. That's why when I try to do my ratings, I don't like to put really any guys in the 99 spot, because I think, like, the 99 overall spot should be reserved for only the best of the best athletes that will ever play the game. So, like, Aaron Rodgers, I gave a 99 because no one has, like, we'll never see a quarterback like him probably ever again. And we could say the same thing about Tom Brady. But Aaron Rodgers is, like, the perfect passer, basically. Devontae Adams and Cooper Kupp, whatever. All right, let's move on. These are the top 32 teams. Oh, yeah, these are the top 32 teams. Let's look through these 1 to 32. Start off with the Buccaneers at 90 overall. Can't really deny that. They have a bunch of talent at basically every single position. Bale's 88 overall. Makes sense. Rams 87, Chiefs 88, Chiefs 87. Those are, like, the 4 of the best teams in the league right now, other than the Bengals. The Chargers 87, Packers 86 should not be that high. They lost the best receiver in the league in free agency last year. You can't put them that high. And they proceeded to take neither of their 2 first-round picks on a wide receiver. And then Ravens 86 overall, I think that's a bit high. I just don't think they're that good of a team. The Raiders 86, okay, makes sense. They added, who did they add? No. It was the Chargers who became the Rams of this season, just signing a bunch of different great free agents. But the Raiders, they do have, Max Crosby, Derek Carr, Devontae Adams. They have Josh Jacobs. They have some pretty good weapons. The Browns at 86 and the Bengals at 85. I don't see how that's not good at all. I actually remember last year, the Browns were actually seen as a possible Super Bowl contender, and really their very first game wasn't going to be a good sign of that, because they were playing the Chiefs. They lost like 32 to 29, but whatever. I don't see how the Browns, and then they just fell off completely after that. The Browns, I don't think should be that high. If the Bengals are only an 85, I think the Bengals could be higher. They were just used perfectly last year. Again, I like saying used perfectly a lot, if you can't tell. Okay, here we go. Number 11 through 20, the Cowboys, 85 overall. 49ers, 85 overall. Cardinals, 84 overall. Cardinals are a bit high. Titans, 84 overall. Saints, 84 overall. It's weird seeing them at 84. They've been, like, high 80s for years. The Eagles, 83 overall. I think that's... Actually, then again, they did add A.J. Brown, so who knows. The Colts, 83 overall. Broncos at 83 overall. Steelers 82 and Dolphins 82. And then 21 through 32. Patriots 81, Vikings 81. I think we could be higher just based on the talent that we have. But the Vikings, we could have the best players from the Buccaneers, Rams, Chiefs, Bills, Bengals. We'd have all of them, and we'll still somehow go 9-8. The Redskins 79, Giants 79. I'm surprised they're that high, especially above the Seahawks and other teams. The Jets 77, the Bears 76, Jaguars 76, Falcons 75, Lions 75, and then Texans. I can't see what that is. Looks like 72 and 70. Texans 74 maybe, and then 73. I don't know. Gosh, it's weird that last couple years, the obvious worst teams have been the Jets, Jaguars, Lions, and Texans. And then the Giants have joined with them. The Falcons have. Then the Bears and Seahawks, the Bears and the Panthers. The Bears have been one of those teams. They're not seen as a horrible team, but they always are just bad. Like a while ago, remember the worst teams in the league were the 49ers, the Bears, and the Browns. They were like always 3-13 teams, 2-14, 4-12 teams for years. And then the Seahawks, they lost Russell Wilson, they lost Bobby Wagner. They're gonna be bad this year. Now, let's get on to the top 32 safeties in the league. Number 1, Derwin James, 95 overall. Number 2, Tyrann Mathieu, 95 overall. Number 3, Budda Baker, 93 overall. All those three guys got X factors. Justin Simmons, 93 overall. Superstar. Kevin Byard, 92. Jesse Bates, 90. Minka Fitzpatrick, 90. Micah Hyde, 89. Harrison Smith, 88. Jamal Adams, 87. Adrian Amos, 87. Jordan Poyer, 87. Devin McCourty, 87. Eddie Jackson, 86. Antoine Winfield, 86. Marcus Williams, 85. Marcus May, 84. John Johnson, 84. Kareem Jackson, 83. Jamie Ward, 83. Quandre Diggs, 83. CJ Gardner-Johnson, 83. Javon Holland, I think that's his name, 93. Jeremy Chin, 83. I remember when he scored 2 touchdowns in a row against the Vikings in 2020. That was bad. That was sad. Justin Reed, 82. Xavier McKinney, 82. Kyle Duggar, 82. I think that's his name. Logan Ryan, 81. D. Elliott, 81. Jabril Peppers, 81. J-Ron Curse, 80. Darnell Savage, 80. I'm just remembering when Earl Thomas and what was it? What's his name? Played for the Giants and the Redskins. It's Logan something. Were also 2 of the best safeties in the league. It's crazy to think that it's changed so much. Derwin James is now one of the best. Justin Simmons is one of the best. J.C. Bates is one of the best. Minka Fitzpatrick is one of the best. Who else? Antoine Winfield is one of the best. Marcus May, John Johnson, Kareem Jackson. No, Kareem Jackson is old as heck, actually. And then what I think is the super star, when they're labeled as star, I think that's 1 ability. And then the superstar is 2 or more, or it could be the star is 2 abilities, star is 3 to 5. Then there's the X factors. I just don't like that is gonna be my thing for years to come. Harrison Smith at 88. I'm biased, but I think he could be higher. I think Harrison Smith might be the best all-around safety we've seen in a long time, because he's a big hitter. He's great in coverage. He's the best tackling safety in the NFL. Jamal Adams and Derwin James are the only 2 safeties that are similar to him in tackling ability. I just realized that the Packers have 2 safeties, Adrian Amos and Darnell Savage, in the top 32. Do any other teams have that? Justin Reed, Logan Ryan, and Antoine Winfield. I can't tell if these are the same, because they're really similar color, but I don't know if they're the same. And also Jimmy Ward. I think those are the Could be Redskins. Could be Cardinals. No, the Cardinals is the actually red. Buda Baker. I don't have much to say. Oh yeah, Kareem Jackson and Justin Simmons are also the top two. Marcus Maye, C.J. Gardner-Johnson are up there. Jordan Poyer and Hyatt isn't on here. Anyways, let's finish up. I have 3 more. The top 32 linebackers. Okay, it's just linebackers, not specifically middle linebackers. This is fine. I do agree with this. Fred Warner at 93. I wonder how this got messed up. Darius Leonard at 90. That he has to be either number 5 or he's like a 92. Fred Warner and Darius Leonard are the 2 best linebackers in the league. Does make sense. And then Levante David, Demario Davis, and Eric Kendricks all tied at 91 overall. Who else? There's Roquan Smith at 90 overall, Bobby Wagner 87 overall. It's so weird to see him that low. In Madden 20, he was part of the Madden 99 club along with Khalil Mack, Aaron Donald, and DeAndre Hopkins. Just shows you how much he's really washed. Devondre Campbell. I had him in Madden, my Ultimate Team for a while ago. D. Jones? Not Chandler Jones. Deion Jones. That's Deion Jones. I don't like Deion Jones. He's whenever I face Deion Jones in mud, like whenever one of the other team has him, he's always so good in coverage. He's a pass coverage archetype. Even Eric Kendricks isn't as good as him. At least in coverage, I can be very good with Eric Kendricks. I like to brag about how I'm good with Eric Kendricks, and then I just F him up the whole game. Deion Jones, Shaq Thompson. Is that Shaq Thompson? Yeah, I think it's Shaq. No, Shaq Mason who I was mixing up with. Shaq Thompson, Miles Jack at 83. That makes no sense. Miles Jack is not that good. Denzel Perriman, 83. Foye Sadalokan, 82. Tremaine Edmonds, 82. Roquan Evans, wait. How did I think Roquan so quickly? Anyway, R. Evans. Blake Martinez at 80. Jay Bentley at 80. Jay Baker. I know who that is, but for some reason the first name is blanking on me. Whatever. Leighton Vander Esch. Who else remembers when Leighton Vander Esch was actually like a rising star? I think it was like his rookie year. I think it was Madden 2018. He was seen as like one of the new up and coming linebackers. He was supposed to replace Sean Lee. Sean Lee was, I don't know how good of a linebacker he was. I think he was pretty good for a while. And then Leighton Vander Esch was looking like his successor. And then he's fallen off. And then Isaiah Simmons, who also was very good in Madden. Ben Bolton, T.J. Edwards, Tremaine Edmonds. That's who I'm mixing up with. Devin Bush at 78. Brian Okereke. Okereke. Is that Cunningham or Cunning? Then Jordan Hicks at 77. I'm actually kind of impressed. We have Eric Hendricks and Jordan Hicks in the top 32. Patrick Queen. And then K. White, K. Barnes, A. Walker, and J. Brown. I don't know who any of those guys are. Yeah, the thing is, something with middle linebackers, linebackers used to be kind of like defensive linemen. Like for a while, they were just run support and pass rushers. Like they were the second line in that. The guys like Von Miller and Khalil Mack, Derek Brooks. I don't know if Junior Seau was the same, but and also Bobby Wagner. I think Bobby Wagner is like he might be one of the last pure tackling linebackers because like Fred Warner, Darius Leonard, Levante David, Demario Davis, Eric Kendricks, Roquan Smith. I think that these are all good coverage linebackers. Devin White, Devondre Campbell, Deion Jones, Shaq Thompson. Not sure about everyone else, but a lot like I think that the three best coverage linebackers in the league are Eric Kendricks, Fred Warner, and Levante David. Darius Leonard and Demario Davis, I think, are more tackling linebackers, but that makes it kind of hard to compare them. Like, you could think the best tacklers in the NFL, probably Bobby Wagner, Fred Warner, Darius Leonard, Demario Davis, guys like them. I don't say Eric Kendricks. I think he's the best coverage linebacker in the league. I don't think he's one of the best tackling linebackers in the league. Then you get to coverage. Fred Warner, Levante David, Eric Kendricks, could say Darius Leonard, guys like that. Makes it kind of hard to compare them. Overall linebackers goes like that, but then like for running backs, it can be particularly hard to compare because let's say you compare 2019 Christian McCaffrey to 2020 Derrick Henry. Which guy's better? You could say Derrick Henry's better because he ran for over 2,000 yards, but he didn't catch 100 passes for over 1,000 yards. That's what Christian McCaffrey did. Christian McCaffrey was probably the best receiving. I think he had the best receiving season of any running back ever, getting over 100 catches. I think he had more than Julio Jones for 2 seasons straight in 2018 and 19. Pretty sure. It's weird how Christian McCaffrey has followed the exact same route as Saquon Barkley did. They were both beasts in 1 year, and then fell off because an injury knocked them off soon after that. Like Saquon Barkley was a beast in 2018. Ran for over 1,300 yards. He was the juke master basically. If you didn't have 8 guys on him, he was gonna juke out of you. And then he gets injured in 2019, falls off from there. Same with Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey has a big year in 2019, and then gets injured, falls off a cliff. Why am I talking about running back so much when we're on linebackers? Let's move on to our last two. I'm on 37 minutes. Hopefully I can finish in under 40 minutes. The top 32 defensive tackles, I did not expect to see a single one from us on here. I don't know why Michael Pierce is in purple. He did go back to the Ravens, didn't he? I'm 90% sure that he did, which makes it impressive that they have 2 guys in the top 18 here. Okay, Mixon, D Ford. D Ford is not a D tackle. He's an outside linebacker. I'm fairly certain. Aaron Donald, Cameron Hayward, and Chris Jones. That has totally changed. Remember when the top 3 defensive tackles in the league? In 2018, Aaron Donald, Fletcher Cox, and Damon Harrison. Those were the top 3 in the league. And then the next year, DeForest Buckner, the 49ers defense really kicked off. Eric Armstead, DeForest Buckner, and Nick Bosa. They were the best defensive line in the league in 2019, and then the Bucs were in 2020. At least you could say. Michael Pierce, Calais Campbell, Dalvin Tomlinson at 78. I was genuinely surprised that we made it on the list. I didn't think we would. But seeing some of the guys that we're below, we're above D Ford, makes sense. B Hill, I don't even know who that is, so it makes sense. Ionitis, F Fadakasi, Fadakasi, C Wilkins, D Brown, DeMarcus Lawrence. He's a defensive end. I'm just fairly certain. David Onyemata. I love David Onyemata. Not because for being an actual player, but because he is an incredible defensive lineman in Madden Ultimate Team. He's only a 94 overall, but he plays like a 99 overall. He's so good. He's easily my favorite guy on my defense. E. Oliver, S. Joseph, Leonard Williams. I don't recognize a lot of these guys. D. Payne, A. Hicks, Quentin Williams. Okay, no, let's finish this up. I don't really have anything to say about that. This will finish it up. The top edge rushers. The Vikings have an interesting spot here. We don't have any guys in the top 5, top 10, even top 15. But there's DeMarcus Lawrence. I wonder where he was. I wonder what's the last one. But we have 86 overall Danielle Hunter and 85 overall Zadarius Smith. A superstar and a star. I wonder what their abilities are. TJ Watt, 90 overall. Makes sense. He tied the sack record. Myles Garrett, 99 overall. Nick Bosa, 95 overall. I don't know if I agree with that, though. And then Chandler Jones. That's who that is. Chandler Jones, 95 overall. Micah Parsons, 93 overall. Khalil Mack, 92. Joey Bosa, 92. They're both, wow. Dang. Max Crosby, 92. Wait, do the Raiders have Chandler Jones and Max Crosby? I think I've heard of that. Gosh. That makes like three of these teams have two amazing edge rushers. You got the Chargers with Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. And you got the Raiders with Chandler Jones and Max Crosby. And then you got the Vikings with Danielle Hunter and Zadarius Smith. Yes, neither of these guys have had great seasons in like 2 or 3 years because they've been injured, but still they are. Everyone knows that. Cameron Jordan, DeMarcus Lawrence, and Von Miller. Shaq Barrett, I'm actually surprised that he didn't get a better card or abilities in Madden 20. Even though he had 19.5 sacks in Madden 20, he didn't get Edge Threat Elite. He got Edge Threat. Guys like Von Miller and Khalil Mack have that. I think he should have gotten more. The only guys with Edge Threat Elite were Danielle Hunter, Zadarius Smith, Chandler Jones, and Cameron Jordan. I'm pretty sure those are the only 4 guys that I can think of right off the bat who had it. And it makes sense. Those were the top 4 edge rushers in 2019. But I wonder why only some of these guys are like brightly outlined. Like there's just this spot here where no one's on the left. And then here it's a lot of white. There's a lot of white right here and they're there. Why am I focusing more on the outlines and the players? I don't know. Probably because I'm bored and find other stuff interesting. But anyway, that's gonna be it for the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, hit that bell, comment what videos you'd like to see, and as always, never forget the Packers always suck, and Skull Vikings.